We made it to 20k subs, everyone. Just want to say thanks to each and every one of you for your support. With that, we got some giveaways coming up on Discord as well as a drawing contest if anybody wants to enter. The Discord link is in the description. Alright, with that, let's get into some ProRevenge. Won't pay me for my work? I will ruin your company from the inside. For some context, this all happened to me just over a year ago. After telling the story to multiple people, some of my close friends told me that it would be appreciated here. English is my third language. Very sorry if there are any grammatical errors. I apologize in advance for the long read. Too long didn't read at the end. To begin, I moved to the US from Germany about 5 years ago. My father found a steady job as an insurance salesman, and my mother was a housewife for the first couple of years living in the United States. At this time, I was only 12 years old and attempting to find friends in my 6th grade class. After about 3 years of living in a calm suburban town, my mother had become more increasingly bored as a stay-at-home mom and decided to start looking for a job. Eventually, she found a job translating for a new small options company based in the big city near my suburb. Her boss and CEO was probably the most narcissistic, arrogant dick I have ever met, so we will call him DB for douchebag. In addition to translating conversations, emails, and documents from foreign clients, she was also in charge of building the company's new website and managing all the docs and programs they had made. About a year later, after I had turned 16, I was looking for a job and eventually started working for my mom's boss and his company because they were looking for employees and I was looking for employment. When I started there, I was put in charge of the website management because I knew a lot more about technology and computer stuff than my mother did. Before I continue any further, I would like to explain a little more about DB's company. So basically, what this company does is create resources and tutorials for people who are learning about trading options or stocks, and their lessons weren't cheap. Clients varied in wealth. We had some very rich and others looking for deals on a budget. This is important to the story. Anyway, I wasn't paid an hourly salary for my job with DB's company. I was paid a predetermined amount per task that I completed. It worked pretty well at first. DB would assign me a task to complete and we would agree on a price for my time. Most of the tasks were tedious, busy work no one in the office wanted to do. DB and I had only met in person a few times and we mostly talked through emails. As with school, most of my work with the company was done on my computer at home. For a few months, everything went smoothly and I made a decent amount of money for a kid my age. I didn't mind doing the work as it was very simple, just tedious, and I could watch YouTube while working at home, which was a win-win for me. Eventually, there came a time where I was paid a little less than what we agreed on. However, I noticed but didn't really care, as I was still making a lot of money. I thought it was just a mistake on his end, but I was wrong. After completing more tasks, he started paying me less and less than what we had previously agreed on. When I eventually confronted him about it, he argued with me and said that he had paid me the amount we had agreed on, which I knew was a complete lie. There even was a time where he didn't even pay me at all. I was so sick of his shit. He kept making excuses about how I'm just a kid and I don't need to pay taxes or anything, and he just went on and on. At this point, the only reason I still worked for this asshole was solely to get revenge. About a month later, I get a very important email from DB explaining that a new client just made a very expensive order and bought a copy of almost every course, document, and lesson that DB had for sale. My task was to revise all the documents in his order and create a folder to locate copies of all the resources. Like I said, it was easy work, but time-consuming, and everyone else had something more important to do. I told DB that I would start immediately, and I would have a folder ready by the end of the week. However, this was a lot of work, and I wasn't sure if DB was going to pay me, so I didn't do anything. By the end of the week, my inbox is exploding from emails from DB, frantically asking about the folder. I said I was really busy the whole week with school, but DB wasn't having it. He lost a client that he could have made tens of thousands of dollars off of. He called my phone, and when I answered, he started screaming at me and said I wouldn't be paid for my work, which I probably wouldn't have been anyway, and I was fired on the spot. I honestly really didn't care, as at this point I really knew how much of a dick DB was. I thought I was done with him, but sadly I wasn't. The douchebag began harassing my mother at work, physically and mentally. I witnessed this when I visited the office with her. She eventually quit, but I knew I had to get back at DB once and for all, and I wanted him to really suffer this time. What DB didn't know was that I still had access to the website and I was an admin. I had access to all the resources of the company that they sold. Slowly I started to formulate my plan, and a great idea came to me. Disclaimer, I am not sure if what I did here is illegal, but I know the DB deserved this. When clients approached our website, they filled out their email address or phone number. What I did was when a new client contacted me through the website, I contacted them with a fake email and gave them every resource they asked for free. This went on for months, and when DB heard the news that there had been 0 new clients in months, it shattered him. He actually became depressed. At this point, it made me so happy to see him like this, and I knew I had to take it a step further. Began reaching out to regular clients too, and giving them all the company lessons and docs for free too. This was a small company, and it didn't take long. Pretty soon, the company started to go under as they had 0 sales for almost a whole quarter. After Douchebag's company went under, his wife divorced him, and he is left unemployed living off his savings, which hopefully won't last him very long. I don't know all the details about what happened to DB after his company shut down, but I do know that his future isn't very bright at the moment, and he is a depressed alcoholic. The best part is that he will never know it was me, and seeing the close sign in front of his old office building every day makes me smile. That one's pretty savage. Single-handedly taking down his entire company because he was a douchebag. Don't be a douchebag. That's rule number 47. We arrived at our weekend getaway rental, and it was taken by someone else. Unexpected ProRevenge. This is over 5 years ago. I made reservations for a large suite in an old bed and breakfast place for my girlfriend and me. Paid deposit for a long weekend getaway a few hours away. When we arrived, owner had rented the place out to someone else. We had a discussion over the phone with her, and she could do nothing for us. She said we were trespassing and that she would call the cops. We found a different place to stay for the weekend and had a good time anyway. When we came home, I billed her for our whole weekend. Car, hotel, food, totaling $1,200. She refused to pay, so I sued in the local small claims court. She countersued in her local small claims court for trespassing, of all insane choices. She and her man first had to arrive in my town the day before since the court time was 0800. The judge admonished her, and we got a judgment for all our expenses. She later sent us a check. Now, I had to go to small claims court in her town. I realized later I could have just sent a letter. It was a wasted day, but when the judge heard the case and the existing judgment in the case, he was already pissed off at the rental owner. He ordered her to pay $400 for my expenses and told her she was abusing the courts. She now paid this as well. I felt the court made me whole and then some, and considered the case closed. Fast forward almost 5 years. The bed and breakfast owner now calls me out of the blue and tells me that for some reason the court had not registered that she had paid me. The credit agencies reported her with outstanding judgments. She was closing on a property and needed it to be fixed right away. I was not going to help her, but said I could not remember this matter, and she offered to overnight me 2 new checks over again if I would just mail back a letter confirming the judgments were paid. I agreed and got certified checks and decided I was not exactly sure when and where to mail her the confirmation. Without my letter, she was not able to close on the property and her purchase did not go through. I did not hear from her again. I feel like that's a little bit over the top, but she did say she was going to call the cops and have her arrested for trespassing, so she made bank off this fool. I've been in this same type of situation before, but unfortunately it didn't go so well for me. Steal my security deposit and ignore me for a year? Say goodbye to your staff and reputation. So, background. Around Thanksgiving 2017, my wife's company offered her a fantastic promotion, which she accepted even though it meant moving across the state by January 1st. The month of December was insanity. List and sell the house. Find a short-term rental which would accept 4 pets, pack, move, etc. A lot of whiskey magically disappeared, but I got it all done and we moved into our rental house and all was well. We bought our new home and moved, and the rental lease officially ended on April 1st. The property manager followed the state laws correctly so far, and we were told we'd get the $1,800 owed for our security deposit back by May. Spoiler alert, it never came. I spent the next 4 months going back and forth with the property manager and hearing, "It's coming, we never got your paperwork, blah blah." I got sick of this and got 2 different lawyers involved and sent them official demand letters. I also filed a formal complaint with the State Division of Real Estate against their license. The PM kept telling the state investigators that they would pay us back, but nothing ever happened. I didn't want to formally sue via our lawyer because he charges $300 an hour and it's all up front. I was hesitant to go to a small claims court because it's a $5,000 max in our state, and the damages we're legally owed are 3 times the $1,800 deposit, which puts us over that cap. So I'd have to give up on some of the damages we're legally entitled to seek, eat roughly $500 total in fees, and then go through that whole process for the next year. And assuming we won the judgment, then go through the collection process for another year or 2. An option. One, we'd win, but a big pain in my ass. So this is where the ProRevenge comes in. It was initially petty. Say their website is propertymanager.com. I bought propertymanager.co for $12 and posted all of my screenshots and info about their theft and bullshit for the world to see. And then I bombed it all over their business Facebook pages as well as the personal pages for the main partners and their Yelp page. I got a kick out of it. They took their pages down. Petty revenge wins, right? My little website caused a bigger boom than I anticipated. Basically, this PM has 2 principal agents in charge and a broker. One of the agents is married to the broker. Beneath them, they had 5 realtors. I sent my new website to them all, everywhere I could. Turns out the partner who isn't married to the broker had no idea that the broker and his wife were stealing money from the PM company. Their realtors had no idea either. 2 of them quit immediately, and one reached out to me to let me know why she quit and that she was going to a new broker. But the other principal of the company was mortified. She asked me to leave her name out of it, take the stuff down, etc. And I just politely but coldly replied that, hey, your business partners/broker stole my money and I can get back everything I'm saying with documents. Not my problem. She promised she'd get things resolved, and for the first time in 10 months, the broker started answering my emails. We worked out a deal, and they're now paying us $200 a month until December, which will cover the amount owed plus the extra for our legal fees. The first check came last week. It actually bounced, but I made them send me a cashier's check, and they have to send cashier's checks going forward. So we did get our first installment. I've also learned that the state investigation has been turned over to the state's legal department, and the broker and his wife will likely lose their license. The state investigator said they had multiple complaints against them, but I was the most thorough and had the most documentation against them. So our complaint was a big reason they had the ammo to push it to the legal team. So all told, my little website ended up costing them 40% of their real estate team, resulted in them removing their business Facebook listings, pushed the investigation into their license over to a state legal team still ongoing, and resulted in them having to finally start paying us not only the $1,800 we're owed, but the legal fees I spent on top of it. Oh, and that bounce check? I made them send me a certified check for $12 to cover the bank fee for that too. That's some pretty good pro-revenge right there. Just create a little website that's almost the same address, just slandering the entire company. And then yeah, bomb it all over everywhere you can. I don't think I would take that website down even after they finish paying. I've been screwed out of security deposits before and it's just no fun. Don't forget that drawing contest is going on soon. Discord links in the description so you can get all signed up. The winners will have their submission put in my next video and also receive 1 month of Discord Nitro. Hope you all have a good day and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.